What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hope you guys had a great day today. Today was an absolute banger day. Uh, can't even lie. But more importantly, it was great because of the studying, the hard work, being able to identify certain structure, certain dailies, categorizing them into specific playbooks, right? And then learning how they're trading off the book for me, right? And then also learning percentage, right, per daily, what to kind of expect, and then also knowing what should happen and what shouldn't happen, right? If you guys are following me, you know, I'm getting extremely confident in holding my positions. I started this a year ago, right? February of last year, I made a huge change, and I just kept plugging away of building a core and then learning how to hold that, because I started to identify that my first ads as a long were my best ads, right? And then if you start seeing, if I start noticing, if I miss the play, I probably won't play it as aggressive unless it bases, and then I can identify that there is potentially more room or gap to fill on the daily, right? I don't want to put a lot of risk on anymore. I'd rather just miss the play completely and learn how to get better and stay super focused from the beginning, right? Again, the book is phenomenal, guys. If you guys don't use it, I do have a code down there that will save you a few bucks in the description. Start learning it. I can't tell you how phenomenal it is, right? And then it just builds the confluence with trading your edge, right? Everyone's edge is going to be different, right? For me, I like to hold. I like to hold and look for a big percent return. So there's a lot of things that the book shows me when I'm utilizing it and comparing it to certain dailies, right? That's a big thing. Okay, so it keeps me in the trade. It keeps me holding. At this point in my trading career, I'd rather take a small win if it doesn't work, right? Move my stop up, right? Or stop out, break even, or take a small loss, than to give up such phenomenal ads. It is a very hard thing, especially if you've been one who's scalp. But the flip side of that coin is way bigger returns, right? Less stress, right? The gray hairs, they're starting to disappear, right? I'm kidding. AULT, okay, AULT. AULT was a great pre-market play, okay? Daily wise, right? If you understand, this is a completely different type of daily, okay? This thing actually ran back on 213. Went parabolic midday and then started to really gap up and then failed over a previous daily supply zone. It could not break out of this, right? It attempted and then it failed. So then in the morning we started to get some momentum, and this thing actually started to ramp up, right? This is a big day to consider, and then also remember that it's still running into supply. So we got some sideways consolidation, but then it ran into a previous day where it had a lot of volume and then it rejected. Okay, so there's key levels on that, your basic VWAP, breaking down zones and things like that. Okay, particularly the book on this one, right? Let me go back to the chart. Okay, so this was the pop consolidation that we got pretty early, and then after that 8 a.m. hit, and then we started to get some more volume. Okay, on the book ski, all right, especially right here, which you kind of saw that on the 5. To me, this thing did not break down early on, okay? And these areas right here, sellers got absorbed. I'm going to show you examples of that on CXAI as well. And, okay, real quick, sellers being absorbed. What does that mean? That means a seller was absorbed, right? Whether someone shorted it or took profits, this did not break down in this area, right? So there was some seller absorption on the market aggressive side right here. Okay, especially down here when about 18K went through, and then another 20K went through right there. It says only 50 cents is very early. If you understand too, the bid support that came underneath this, And then after these sellers are absorbed, there's no more appetite on the best bids. That is so important. Okay, really, really important. You can see at times that this one did have a spread, and then it would tighten up, have a spread, and then when it would tighten up, some nice bids came underneath this. This thing had this characteristic when it started to tighten up throughout the whole run up. That is a great thing to look for. Something I look for, especially when I long something and I'm looking for PT, right? A certain PT. Okay. Let me zoom out. Key areas on this one definitely was 66 cents. That needed to break and sustain from that 213 day. All right. Not only that, this thing pulled back to a previous area of interest or a little pivot on the book, and then we had that same thing happen over here where I saw some more sellers being absorbed and this not breaking down or getting heavy. Okay, this is an open gap on this one now. Now mind you, if you zoom in right here too, okay, this is the best thing about the book right here, is that if you zoom in right here, there's a big offer at 72 cents and they start to pull it and it gets lighter as price action starts to increase and go through that. That is great. This is another example of me holding on to my core and seeing also bids step up, seeing momentum continue, and seeing that there's still aggression on the book, right? That's super key. Another great thing about this one is understanding history. All right, how many times has AULT actually sustained a gap fill or a gap? Not that much. All right, cool. Super key, right, in understanding that. So a lot of these things too, let me zoom out real quick. You know, when I'm looking at this bigger picture, there's a huge front runner on this, and once the bell opened up, the characteristics of this one changed and they pulled it. All right, since knowing a little bit of history about the book and the name of this, knowing a little bit of history about the name on this one does not hold or sustain. This thing actually gave its whole move back. So this was a pre-market play for me, a really solid win. In the morning, had 57, 59s on this and rode it all the way up for a really nice gain up here on that one to start the morning. And then CXAI in the game. That's actually EA Sports, but this one had me in the game all day. CXAI, guys, did a really great week open right here. Started to pop up and show some strength. And then, of course, guys, you're going to see these bids right here on the book. Okay, I talk about categorizing, right? CXAI. This might actually help some of the shorts too. That I talked to. Okay, what kind of daily? This is a different type of daily, right? This is not a daily that is gapping right away. This is a potential continuation play, and then also you got AI. You have these earnings that are coming out for AI and a lot of these names in that particular sector. This one's actually sitting at 314 right now in after hours, so this held up. This was a very strong stock. All right, and then back to what I was saying with daily. When this opens up and starts to move up, 180s, 190s, it is not gapped up. This is not your maybe normal gapper that maybe a lot of people play. So this is a completely different type of daily. It's not a daily that gapped up 50-60%, tries to squeeze, look left, right? There might be a lot of things to get through. To me, I really focused on two main levels on this, and these were just basically these window gap areas on the daily. So really 290s was a key level to break, and then after you break 290s, you can potentially get 323s on this one, and that would completely fill it. So that was really my main goal for this one. Okay, so this one was great, guys. You kind of see, let me pull up the book real quick. Okay, all right, so cool. Basically had $2 average. I almost missed this one. I was focused on a few different names, and then I immediately saw the strength. Look left at the daily, noticed the window gaps, marked them out really quick, and then got in immediately without hesitating. That's the best part too about studying a bunch of different dailies Volume is everything. This had massive volume coming through. It had massive volume coming through, and it wasn't even up a lot on the daily yet. All right. From ads though, basically got a 60% return, which was phenomenal on this one. A couple key things on this one too. Again, I want to show you, especially right here. To me, this was a key area once this kind of broke out above 230s and then pulled back. Bookwise, key for the Bookwise for me. All right. They had this offer right here, and you kind of start seeing that they start changing and pushing and pulling the size on it, right? As price action starts to come in through, it got a lot thinner than it was in the beginning when they first shoved 16, 17K on there. And then this right here, to me, was another area of sellers getting absorbed. And then this is seller exhaustion. All right, no more sellers, or there's not any more sellers over here. The stock is strong. To me, it wasn't even up that much. And then we have this new set of aggressive buyers that come in right here. And then we go on for another leg and start tapping into these other passive orders, or I call them liquidity magnets, on the book, and we start testing them. As this breaks down or breaks out, it pulls back and starts to consolidate right here. Has some trouble down here. All right, but same thing, very similar situation to right here. Happened again right here. Okay, so I talk about how to look for familiar price auctioning, right? Because that's what they're doing, right? So it's really great to utilize the book for that, to identify price auctioning, and then try to want to see it happen again, right? What's standing out? How is this being, auctioned, and then so on, right? So that's another way that I like to hold my core, is once I start catching on to price action, then that keeps me in the trade. So again, to me, this was another nice area of sellers just getting absorbed. A little offer gets pulled, right? And now if you zoom out of this whole entire pocket again, really doesn't have that backside look that you would see on a lot of these other videos that I talk about. And that was phenomenal. All right, looking for a 250 swipe. Now again, right here, they remove this liquidity, right? This stock starts to get really violent, but these really quick pullbacks with no real offers holding it down, and then as it starts to cool off, there's not a really big aggression of sellers showing up right here. It just swipes it right back up and then makes new highs, pulls back to a previous area of interest, and then starts to take off again. Okay, now this area right here was the area of that tapping into that second window gap. I did take a lot of profits off once we started to get into this area. I did not catch any up here, just a little bit, but I held a small core after that. For me, the chunk of that move happened from 2 to 280s, which I was 100% okay with. I did not catch any, transparency. Did not catch that push up to 345. I hit a lot of my trades in the morning, and then once I lock in a big percent, I kind of just, I give away my core. So I really, I'll get better at that. But once you kind of get rid of your size, it's like, and even when you're holding a little bit, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's trying to hold and gets like, a couple prints up here. So I made most of my money in this area right here. I did have a little bit sells above 3 when I left, but I didn't have that much size, so even these didn't really add to the wallet pad. I made most of my move from holding a core down here all the way up into 280s, which was great. I did not get the 340s, unfortunately. I'll get better at that, but overall this was a really great trade and a great play for me, especially after hitting AULT in the morning. Right, AULT was the first one for a nice return. That was about a 40% return, and then this one for about 60, and then it went a little higher. But what are you gonna do, right? All we can do is get better and better. But that's it, guys. 2 plays. Remember, they're 2 different type of plays. You want to get better at smallies. Got to understand structure. Dailies. How are they being rigged, or how they auction the price, how they trade price action wise, and things like that. All right, guys. Much love. Peace out, Mikey.